Hey guys, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. I'm here with Pastor John Lute, and we're talking about raising teenagers, particularly in this age, even with COVID-19. And very interesting discussion we are having, so much so that we've actually extended the segment just a little bit for him to be able to share a bit more of his experience and to address many of your questions that have come in as well. I have a lot of teenagers texting in, stacking their grandparents, their mother, their father. But also to the parents, it would be great to hear your voice as well. I know most of you are coming from a good place, but we'd also like to just have a very open and honest discussion as far as how then do we, move forward together. Before I dive back into those questions, though, at one point you shared that you then ended up in drug abuse and living a lifestyle now that would be very contrary to that which I think, anyone would have desired for themselves. And now that you're a parent, how do you bring up then these conversations? How do you position yourself as a friend, as you're saying, to your children? Because as you've said, we have the internet, we have our friends in school. Even if you're trying not to see the internet, mwenzako ako hapo na simu yake is showing you things, so the vices are everywhere. How do you now, as a parent, how are you cushioning your children? I don't know if you have sons, daughters.
Yeah, son and a daughter.
A son and a daughter.
Yeah.
And they're how old?
5 and 3.
5 and 3 years old. So I'm imagining the day your daughter comes and starts saying she has a boyfriend. Maybe she's 12 or she's 13. How would you react to that? What do you think would be an appropriate response?
Okay. That will be the best day of my life.
Yeah.
Apart from salvation.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. That would show that they are normal. First of all, because if my son would come to me and tell me I have a boyfriend, that is where the issue comes.
Okay.
Or my daughter will come to me and tell me I have a girlfriend. You see, this is the thing that I'm trying to say. There are things that God put in a man. And if God put them there, it's not sin. This time is what the Bible says, there's a time and a season for everything. Your job is to make sure that they first understand what they are doing, number one, and then number two, understand the setup, the timing of when to make those things to come to fruition. You get it? Like for example, we cannot assume the fact that we have 10-year-olds who are parents. Like if you go here to Maasai land, you see that's abuse. That's a lot of abuse. I don't believe that should be happening. But again, trying to speak as if that's not the reality of things as we are in this world right now, that is where the whole problem comes in. Because as a parent, your child will come and tell you, Mom, I have a boyfriend. The word boyfriend, he's a friend who is a boy.
Okay.
It's very simple. A friend who happens to be a boy. Okay. Now you must be able to instill in them things, and this is why from the time the child is young, begin to build in them what I call morals. Because you see, for me, like the things that I went through, there was a time I was working with people who had guns. It was that bad. It's because of time we cannot be able to share these things. A lot of people see God using us and you're like, God uses them because their past is very clean. No, God uses us because of the grace that God has made available through Christ. And you see, for us, the thing that personally from my experience that I came to learn, even if you try to cage a dog and that dog has an ability and knows that I can jump, and it's waiting for the right time to jump, one day that dog is going to jump outside the fence. So a lot of parents today, they are creating a fence instead of putting wisdom, letting the child know that when you get to a certain age, you will now have to choose your life. But before you get to choose your life, I will give you a setup that you will never choose outside this territory. So the parent needs to understand that the decision that the child makes is courtesy of what you put in them. And then this is the thing, and especially through this, I like what is happening in regards to how COVID has brought people together. People think that COVID has divided people. No. COVID has made a lot of parents know that whatever you've been going to do outside there, most of it is nothing. Because a lot of us have been eating, there are so many things that have still been going on. Like if you ask a lot of family people, there are many people who have met during this COVID time and they never met. So you find a parent is waking up at 6, is coming back at 10, and then you leave the child with the house help. You wonder why the child is connected to the house help. And now the whole day the house help is listening to Lingala music, to some kind of music, dancing funny at the sitting room. That is what the child sees, and that is what I tell people, the eye of the child is like a camera. They will take what they see. And if what they keep seeing is this, that's what they'll keep taking. So now you as a parent, you go there, you come at 10, you think that the whole idea, as long as I give you somewhere to stay, that's what my dad used to tell us. So you have food, so you have what? And then you realize it's not food, Dad. There is more than food.
You wanted
it's
love.
me.
You wanted attention.
I want to. Let me end this way before you go to the next probably question. I tell fathers, you must be able to see the king while he's still a kid. Understand the statement? You must be able to see the king while that person is still a kid. Wow. And if I can see a king, I'll begin to groom you as a king. I'll begin to groom you. It's like military. They groom you from a younger age. They groom in such a way when you become that great person, your mind is so disciplined. Even though you have power, you have discipline. Power without discipline will destroy.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, okay. Let me get to some more SMSs here. Someone here is saying, oh dear. Someone here is saying, my grandparents just keep on shouting at me to do all the house chores. They just can't help me see. They just can't help see me sit down and watch a movie. Unasema, you're tired, inaku affect. Okay. Thank you for that. Another saying, I'm 17 years old, enjoying the show from Nakuru. I think parents misunderstand us as teenagers and place strict rules. They need to understand that we also need to be understood as humans. Thank you for that. Rose from Kisumu. Wasema ningependa wazazi wafunze watoto wao waweke karibu nayo, please wazazi. Okay. Another saying, hey Joyce, I'm a teen watching the show from Karatina in Nyeri and constantly have issues with my mom in regards to my friends. Sometimes I find her paranoid since she wants to choose friends for me, and whenever I have issues, she does not want to defend me like how other daughters are defended by their moms, and this has made me feel like hating her for life. And I really want us to focus in on this message in particular, because putting boyfriends and sort of romanticized sexual relationships aside, it could even just be with your friends, right? And we were taught, or at least we know, the people who are your friends are going to affect your future.
That.
I mean, you were walking around with people with guns, and had it not been for God's grace, who knows where you'd have been at this point, right? So when a mom is seeing these friends of yours, maybe she's kumbukaing, I had similar friends and they don't end up well, and trying to communicate that to the daughter, but the daughter is feeling that she's being restricted. And then we can also touch on the part of where she feels like the mom does not defend her. That's a very loaded statement. And I'd want you to address both sides of that as well. But let's begin with the friend part. Because our parents will presume, they also had some not so good friends, and they know where they ended up. So, does a parent have a right as the steward of this child to sort of dictate who they should be friends with or not?
Okay. Let me answer it this way. You can have the right information, but your effectiveness is in the communication.
Okay.
All parents have the right information. I don't believe there's a parent who would sit and want the child to, try to mislead the child. I have not met one parent. So the information you're trying to bring is right. The way of communicating that information is what is wrong. Because you are communicating that information as if you are living in the 70s. Or as if you are living in the 40s. You are not living in the 40s. You must be able to communicate that information to the setup that you are in right now. So a lot of parents, and listen to me children, when you see your parents at most of the time tell you, don't do this, don't do that. If you check, 99% they are right.
Yeah, it's coming from a good place.
It's coming from a good place.
It's just how
they are bringing it out. They are bringing it out through beating. They are bringing it out through abuse, because the greatest form of abuse is verbal. And this is why if you want to break a woman, I tell people who are married, if you want to break a woman, speak to her. Because the first thing that happened with Eve, Adam spoke to the woman, and whatever Adam told the woman put it in them. So whatever it is you speak to a person, that is the easiest way to break the person, and whatever it is you speak is the easiest way to make them. So it's very simple. Even if you have the right information, your channel of communication must be equal to that. It's like taking a pipe that is meant for oil and then channeling water for people to drink. It's a pipe, But you see, by the time that water comes on the other side, it's already contaminated. And that's the thing today. Parents must understand that whatever it is you're trying to make your children to be aware of, either through your own experience, through things that you already know, because a parent can look at you and say, this one, and most of the time if they tell you here there is nothing, it's true. But there is a way you say it. Don't make your children feel as if you are telling them. Let your children know that whatever I'm telling you, hear me. This what I'm telling you is what I went through. And when you begin to see such sign and such sign and such a sign, begin to let that person go. It's as simple as that. Make sure that even though you have the right information, let your communication be as equal as information you have.
So let's do this again practically then. For someone who the mom does not like the friends.
Yeah.
She's seeing, and maybe they're truly not good friends.
Yeah.
Maybe she's even right. As you've said, she has probably the right information.
Yeah.
How would you advise a parent to actually have that conversation? What is the strategy?
Bring the child, sit the child down. It's like now me telling you, like we're seated here.
Let's say I'm the child.
Let's say you're the child. Well, let's say you're the child and I'm the parent. Let's give this a scenario this way. Okay, you come and you tell me, oh, you know, I went to so-and-so place, and you've been studying the character for over a period of time. You have seen that anytime they're with this person, don't be paranoid. Don't see, it's like mothers, they see someone for the first time and they're already telling, this boy is bad. No, you can't do that. You know, your father came from that same boy that you're calling bad, the person that married you, you know, and you know where you are meeting in the corner somewhere there. So it boiled to what you already have today. So not when you see someone, when you see a person who is a boy, you cannot just assume that this person is bad. Bring that person closer. Let your friends, let her know all her friends or all his friends, know them. And how you know them is to begin to bring her. Don't begin to look for the friends. Talk to your daughter. Hi, how are you? Are you okay? What kind of friends do you have? They begin to tell you. Say, can I invite them? Can you invite them? Let those people come closer. Begin to study these people. Then when she finishes, now put it on the table. Don't tell her, I don't want to see you with this one. That's not helping as a parent. Let them know why. It's like telling you, don't go through this road and I'm not telling you why. So how am I helping you? Let the person come and tell them, because of this and this and this, don't do ABCD. Why? If you do, if you begin to see these signs in this person, know that I already warned you. So the child will grow and see, if any time they see that sign, hey, mom told me.
And that's interesting, because you're really giving them agency. I like how you're saying, if you begin to see.
Exactly.
Not when I begin to see as the parent, but if you begin to see for yourself. That's very powerful, I have to say. That's quite profound, because it then means that you raise someone who is analytical also, even in their social contracts as well. That's really powerful. I like that. Someone else is saying, I'm Jane from Nakuru, 19, and I have very strict parents. My dad is a pastor, the strict kind. My mom is very submissive, so my dad always has the final say. We are 5 siblings, all just teenagers, and we have grown up with no relationship with our dad. At least it's easier to talk to mom, but you can't ask her about boys and relationships because she will tell daddy. It's hard because all we've got is fear, and we don't have fun unless the few hours the parents are not home. And actually myself, that ruined me when I finally joined college and I had all the freedom. Now I'm a teenage mom and I wish my parents were close and talked to me. Maybe I could have joined college with a bit more knowledge. Oh dear. Wow, that hits me hard. But pastors' kids. Pastors' kids have a reputation of being the wild card. And I guess in psychology they always say, you know, you always want the thing that you don't have. And so if it's always put, you know, as restricted and far from you, you're going to desire it even more. But maybe you can reflect on this one, especially as pastors. I mean, there's so much that is at stake. Let's try and see it from the pastor's side. He's trying to shepherd the flock. People will not believe him if also he doesn't have his own home in order. They say charity begins at home. So to the ones who are parents, they generally have good intent. But now this one is a pastor. You know, his congregation is watching and judging his life and his family. But here clearly we can see the repercussions, and she's not the only one. I know many pastors' kids who've stepped out and, you know, done things that they're not proud of, now are teenage moms or whatever is happening. What would you say to the ones who are pastors and to pastors' kids? Now that you yourself are a pastor.
I like that. I'm not growing another pastor. I'm the one who is a pastor.
Okay.
I hope they understand that statement.
Okay.
When I look at my children, I don't see pastors. I see my children.
Okay.
So as children, there are mistakes they will make as children.
And you need to address
I
it as
need
a
to
parent.
address it as a parent, not as a pastor. You see, that's where the problem comes in. And I like the statement you've made there, and you say that there's a person you've read and say that now that they are teenagers, they have come to freedom. You see,
off in college.
exactly. You need to make your parents and children understand they are free from day one. You are free. So they are not looking for freedom. You see where the problem comes in. They are already free. My question is, free from what? What are you free from? That's the question. Because you see, freedom comes at a cost. Yeah, freedom comes at a cost. If you really want to be free, even with us, when the Bible says that him whom the Son sets free is free. Question is, what are we free from? Because a lot of people just talk about freedom. Freedom from what? That's the question. It means you are bound. So it means you are growing up from the time you are 1 year all the way to 19 and you are bound. Bound? Why are you bound? And you see, that's where the thing comes. There's a place I went and I told, a young child came to me and told me, Pastor, is it wrong to drink? There was a bottle next. It was thrown down. So what I did not answer that question the way we answer today. The Christian today, it's wrong to drink. Why? Can you give us a reason why? A lot of us we quote Bible without understanding why. If we are told to explain why is this thing, we don't know why. We just know. I took the bottle. It was a Tusker bottle. I put it in front of the 8-year-old kid, an 8-year-old kid. Because I saw the kid, the bottle didn't have anything, but you could see the kid trying to. So when I found the kid, I told the kid, don't do that. The kid asked me why. I took the bottle, I put it here. I told the kid, there is nothing wrong with drinking. Nothing wrong with drinking. Yeah, I know now people are like, oh, man of God. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. Now, this is the thing. According to the Bible says wine is a mocker. You must study the word mock for you to understand why that statement is there. There's nothing wrong with drinking. I began telling the child, now, even though there's nothing wrong with drinking, let me show you who you will become. Then I told the child, when you drink, it mocks you. An 8-year-old kid. How does it mock you? You begin to susu on yourself. You begin to sleep on the corridors. All the money you have, you'll be dirty, you'll be smelling. By the time that conversation was done, they say, I will not drink. I refuse to drink because I've already shown the child why not to drink. That is where the problem comes in.
Wow. I still have so many SMSs to go through. Lots of people sharing their experiences. Shout out to all the teenagers too as well, engaging with us this morning. Some saying even their parents almost killed them at adolescence by talking to them abusively. You know, others, it's just, you know, this friendship is saying it's important between or having it with your parents. Someone here saying, I share everything with my mom and that has helped me make the correct decisions in my life. You hide nothing at all from them. That's fantastic. I mean, I think many would desire such a relationship. But as you talked about earlier, you know, when the scripture talks about spare the rod and spoil the child, and for you, you're saying the rod is not actually sinya unyo, sio whip, that you're beating the child. Is there a place for yani kuchapa? Because now you sound like you have very serious negotiations with your kids.
Mimi nawachapaga vibaya sana.
Unawachapa. Is there a place for, you know, beating your kids or spanking, not beating, but you know, spanking and disciplining your kids in that way? And maybe the question is to what age should that go to? So we're talking about teenagers today. When someone is becoming a young man and a young woman, do you think it's appropriate?
Okay. Nice. Let me ask you. Let me answer with a question. Kindly allow me to ask.
Okay.
Though I'm not the host, but allow me to ask you. Does God beat you when you make a mistake? And the question is, how does God beat you? You understand?
Okay.
Have you ever seen God come to your room? Ati Mungu amechukua kiboko mbaya sana amekuchapa. You see what I'm saying? The physical beating is not how you rectify a matter.
But for like Jonah, he ended up being swallowed by a fish.
Okay, that is not wrong. And then, after what?
He had to pray to God, and then God heard him.
Okay, then when God heard him, what did God do? He was
vomited out.
Okay, God vomited him out. Okay, now check.
The whale vomited him out.
I like that statement. Now, have you noticed, even after the conversation of the whale, did you notice the life of Jonah, how it ended up? A lot of people read until there. Jonah got to a point he was asking God a lot of questions. He had a calling, but he did not have the wisdom to sustain the calling. A lot of us, we are parents, but we don't have the wisdom to keep our children. We don't understand that the greatest way of rod, the greatest rod is wisdom. Just let your children know why. It's as simple as that. Just let me know, and don't make me know why from telling me. Let me know why from befriending me.
Watoto si wa kuuliza maswali, watoto si wa kusikiwa.
Can you imagine? Now, if I don't ask you as a parent, Joyce, let's think about it this way. If me, I can't trust to ask you as a parent, who will I ask? And the person outside there is not going to give me the right answer. Who will I ask that, Mom, you know what, I am beginning to feel my body, something misbehaving in my body. You, because you are staunch Christian, and I'm using this word, it's a very paraphrased statement, because you think you are Christian, you're like, no, we cannot talk about that. Why can't we talk about that? Why? Mom, there is something happening. I'm beginning to be attracted. How do I deal with this? Let the child know attraction is normal.
Very quickly, when would you give your child a phone? And when would you allow your kids on social media? Knowing that those are tremendous influences today. Very quickly. Okay.
When would you give your child a phone? When the child asks.
And if they are 7?
Okay, let's ask the question. You see, you are afraid to give them something because you have not begun to put in them what it needs to handle that thing. For example, if I give you a car and you don't know how to drive, why do you need the car? But if you already know how to drive at 7, the only thing I need to do is to be with you until you are 18. To be with you, to sit there at the co-driver and tell you, you know what, I'm not going to assume that phone, because even if I don't give you a phone, you know what, a friend of yours outside there, mtakuwa mnapatana na kupatia hiyo simu.
Wow. My goodness. Pastor John Lute, thank you for... I have so many SMSs. We've not even... Sijui utarudi kutoka Kitale. We might have to do a part 2 at some point. But I really want to thank you for your time. Thank you for the sacrifice, for coming all the way. Someone here is asking for your contacts. I think it would be important for us to share how people can reach you if they want to follow your work. Maybe even ask you a few questions as well.
All right. Instagram is Lute Babazilo. Everywhere else is John Lute. YouTube channel John Lute. Facebook John Lute. Everything is John Lute.
Lute is L-O-O-T.
Yeah, Lute is L-O-O-T. Baba Zilo, Z-I-L-O.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all of your feedback today. I really do appreciate you guys. Let's meet here tomorrow as we wrap up the week with lots of music. Until then, God bless you and have yourselves a wonderful day ahead.